Hi. Well, thank you very much for being here today with me. But today is going to be a different video, and my original idea was to make a combined video talking about different things on themes that I discovered during my readings of Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Much Ado About Nothing. But I realized that there's a lot of material to talk about, so I'm going to divide these videos, special videos, in three. So we are in the first volume of talking about Shakespeare. And in this case, and I want to make a warning here, if you haven't read Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, or Much Ado About Nothing, please, before watching this video, make sure you've read it, because I don't want to do spoilers, and I'm going to be discussing plot twists and character traits, and I don't want to spoil the reading for anyone, so please, read it first. Having said this, as I said, this is volume 1, so we are going to be discussing, in this case, main characters and villains. Now, you already know, I think, that for me, character development is very important, and I'm going to be discussing the typology of characters, if you let me say so, in the three plays, because for me, having characters that I can relate, that are humans and make mistakes, are really important to me. I really like this kind of characters that you know how they are, how they may respond under what circumstances, but also the characters that have flaws and are able to overcome their fears and so on. So for me, of the whole set of characters that I already know, for me the most important one is Hamlet. And I know that this is going to be a little bit weird, because I'm going to be discussing characters from tragedies and comedies at the same time, and I know that in this case these characters are, of course, building up characters in these two different genres inside theater. It's really different one from the other. So for me, in the case of Hamlet, you have this tragic hero that comes back from studying abroad, and he discovers that after a few months of his father passing away, his mother decides to marry the brother of, well, his uncle, which means that now Claudio, Hamlet's uncle, is going to be the king. And from that moment on, Hamlet discovers, thanks to the revelation of the gods of his father, that his uncle is actually a murderer that killed his own brother to like possess the crown and the kingdom. And I think that's a really crude or very complicated plot to integrate, and it's a very complicated situation for the character to assimilate, to accept. And we have this scenery in which the character Hamlet has to not only accept that, but avenge his father, killing his own uncle, to regain what regain the kingdom for himself, because he is the rightful heir. So in this case, I find that all this is very complicated to integrate in a play, and also we are having a lot of mixed feelings in what, and also we are having a lot of mixed feelings within this character. I mean, mixed feelings. Why mixed feelings? We have to take into account that Hamlet is I don't know. Why mixed feelings? We have to take into account that Hamlet is a student. He is not a soldier. He has this combat formation, of course, but he's person of so he has this combat skills, of course, but he's not a soldier. He doesn't kill someone and then goes on with his life. And I think that the most important element of Hamlet, of the play itself, and the or at least what I like the most, is this ongoing tension that he is suffering from the moment he discovers that he has to avenge his father to the moment he actually does. In this period, he's trying to find reasons or reassurances in this idea of, I need to be sure that my uncle did what the ghost is saying he did, in case that the ghost is, I don't know, lying or laying or something like that. So he needs to be sure, and for doing so, he decided to recreate a play where you can have this situation of murdering a king and taking the crown instead. So I like this, let's say, meta theatrical element of it, like a play inside another play. And I like how human the rest of the characters also are. What I mean by this, we have a very conflicted protagonist that actually has to change his point of view around the world because he thinks the court is safe, but when he discovers this, he discovers that he doesn't have anyone to count on or to rely to when he has to complete this quest. Not even the person he's in love with, because Ophelia, which I adore, she's been manipulated by his father and also the king to try to discover what Hamlet is hiding, because this is another element of Hamlet. Hamlet has to hide his intention, his true intentions, so he plays a mad boy most of the time. So, in my opinion, Hamlet has a lot of weight on his shoulders, but basically because in this play, for example, you can see how killing someone affects a person, in the sense of not only that Hamlet has to be sure about what exactly he is doing or and under what circumstances is best, because he's always changing and thinking about it and letting good opportunities pass. But the importance of the doubts are also there because for Hamlet, and I think that's something you can also see in Claudius' character, killing someone is something, and we can agree or disagree on this, morally wrong. We are in a situation, in a context of a very important religious court. So I think Hamlet doubts so much because not only he is about to confront his own uncle, his own blood, but because he knows that once he takes this step, when he stabs or kills his uncle, he's not going to be able to go back to the way he was. He's going to be darker. And that's something I really like because I think Claudius, the king, also suffers from that. My favorite scene of the whole play is when King Claudius confessed. He's praying and he's confessing like, I killed my brother, and that's something awful, and I will be always condemned and damned because of that. But I don't regret it because otherwise I wouldn't have this power. And I think this dichotomy is something that is always happening to Hamlet as well. He's saying like, I need to do this, but I know I won't be this person myself anymore once I done it. And that's very interesting because when he kills Polonius instead, because he thinks it's King Claudio the one that is behind the curtains in her mother chambers, he becomes a little bit insane, officially insane. He has to run away, but he actually changes. He actually already has done something awful, and that leads him to the what I like to call the fall, because it's like from that moment on he has to go on the run, and trying to avenge his father in this position is very, very difficult. It was difficult before, but now that he knows what it's like to be stained or have the blood of someone else in your hands, I think he goes down the hill in the sense of, well, I did it, I didn't like it, but I don't care, because you were a supporter of my uncle, and therefore you are, to my eyes, you are a villain as well. So I think this kind of killing as an activity in this play, it's like a sign of madness, of darker aspect of character, and you can see a different Hamlet from that moment on. A Hamlet that is like he does a Hamlet that is dangerous, and he doesn't mind to speak the truth now. He doesn't mind to do horrible things, like, I don't know, confronting Ophelia, for example, and he's going to be horrified by the results of this. So I think that by killing, Hamlet discovered a darker and unleashed a darker part of himself. So I think I like this idea of, should I do it? And once I done it, I'm not myself anymore. I'm another version of myself, a darker version. But also, I'm not going to be only focusing myself on Hamlet. We have, in the other tragedy, we have Romeo and Juliet. The situation for the two lovers is quite opposite. In this case, the two lovers confront the whole society and their families in this idea of, I love another person that I shouldn't, because my family is well, my family is confronted with his or with hers. And I think in this case the two characters are like risking everything. I think they are the a very good example of a romantic couple in the sense of romanticism, because they don't care about the I don't know, the social or familiar obstacles. They love each other so much, so passionate, that even death is a good way to be together if they cannot be in their real life. And in their cases, I think it's because of the age. I think that neither Romeo or Juliet have this psychological background that Hamlet has. They don't think a lot about the consequences or what may happen if they do one thing or the other. I think they are more guided by the heart than by the brain. And for example, in the case of Much Ado About Nothing, the like the group of characters has, instead of being guided by reason or being guided by heart, you have the because we have more characters in this case. We have two couples, or yeah, two couples that basically portray both of the sides. You have Hero and Count Claudio, which are the lovers that follow the hearts, that follow the passions, and it's an instant love there. They, as Romeo and Juliet, they see each other and fall for each other very, very soon. But then we have Beatrice and Benedict, who actually know each other from before and don't actually get along very well. But this time that we see them together, you see how being rational, because both of them are rational and sarcastic, how the relationship develops from not hate, but actually I don't get you very well, we don't get along, but how this relationship changes and progresses due to circumstances inside the play, how they fall for each other slowly, and even when they have fallen for each other, they don't actually admit the feelings that they have. And actually there's a bit in which in which Benedict says something like, okay, if you don't like him, you don't like me, I'm going to take you because I feel pity of you, which is actually lying. It's a little bit sarcastic of, meh, okay, I will accept having you. But it's like, I don't know, I like this progression. So we have this character that is all psychological, like Hamlet, and then we have the couple that is all heart, like Romeo and Juliet, and now in Much Ado About Nothing, we have a set of characters that have a polarity. We have this couple that is all heart, and this couple that is just all brain, all thinking about it. And then in the middle, we have the Prince of Aragon, Prince Pedro, that he's like, I think, half and half, and he's the person in charge of, like, it's a little bit of a matchmaker, trying to match everyone with their best, well, the best and suitable partner for everyone in the play. So I think that we have a very compelling characters in every play, but very, very different one from the other. Before leaving the character section of this video, I have to say that for me it's very important a good villain. Having a good villain is vital, and I have found that during the reading of the three plays, in Romeo and Juliet the villains are not that clear because we are in a confronted scenery. We have two families, and I think that the bad guys, the villains here, are equally both of the families, because it doesn't matter in which side you are, you're going to see the other family as the villain of the play. So I think that as a strap thing, the villain in this play is the situation, the confronted and uncomfortable situation, that instead of talking it through, we, the family, leave it resting there until it explodes towards the middle of the play. If we go back to Much Ado About Nothing, we there have a villain, which is Don John, which is the bastard brother of the prince, who in the beginning is said that he have a little bit of a confrontation before, but it's supposed to be okay. It's supposed to be over, and Don John is supporting his brother, which is not true. But what he actually wants to do is to destroy his brother's happiness. And in order to do so, he decided to destroy everybody else's happiness in this play, because it's going to affect his brother. And I think that I would love to see a character doing this, but not only saying it like, oh, I'm the bad guy, I hate my brother, but actually feeling it in the same way you have Claudio as a bad character who, for example, Claudius from Hamlet. King Claudio is actually a very, very bad guy that is not only saying he doesn't care about his brother's death, because without it, although he feels guilty, without that death, he wouldn't be the king now. But you can also see how persuasive he wants to be, first with Hamlet trying to be a good guy, like, I'm here to support you, and then going to Polonius and saying, no, this kid is going insane, and you have to talk to your daughter and tell her, or trying to use her as a way of taking Hamlet intentions, of knowing Hamlet intentions. But not only that, he then decided to ask for courtesans, to all friends of Hamlet, to take it to England, knowing that in England he's going to be killed because he asked for it. He demanded, and he has actually a letter saying that it's going to be done. So you see this very, very bad guy that tries to manipulate everything to maintain the power that he actually has. And I think that for me, Claudio is the best villain. It's like you don't see it coming. You see his maneuvering, his techniques to win everyone over. And if I cannot win you because you are going to be openly against me, I'm going to destroy you, and I'm not going to stop until I do so. Even so, when he doesn't get Hamlet murdered in England, he controls and manipulates Laertes for this purpose. Like, I'm going to use the idea that Ophelia, your sister, died or commit suicide because of Hamlet, like, I don't know, bad behaviors towards her, and I'm going to use you to my own benefit to get my goal, which is killing Hamlet. But you're not going to be able to discover it until I told you that I'm going to poison the swords. And if using poison as a way of killing someone, in that time it was considered a women weapon. It sounds really bad. It sounds really, really, really bad. But you have to take into account that back then the male characters or the male part of the population was the only one provided with the skills to fight, physically fighting, and women were more considered to be more subtle in the way of killing. So poison, it was supposed to be, and it's said in the play, it was supposed to be like more safer way of killing someone because it doesn't leave any kind of trace. So you have this idea of, I'm going to poison a sword just in case you didn't kill him, and we are going to kill him anyway. The problem with that is that, one, you are like placing yourself as a coward because you are not trusting on your, in this case, representative. Two, you are using poison in a, what Claudius wants to do is to create this duel as a way of making justice when it's not justice what it's thinking. The only one that is looking for justice is Hamlet. But with this, Shakespeare makes sure that dueling as a way of creating social justice between important families, between nobles, which was very, very practiced back then. Although it was illegal, it was present in the play. It was reflecting something that it actually happened then. When someone was dishonored, the best way of confronting it, the best way of fixing it, was to make a duel, even if it was illegal. It doesn't care. We make it in silence, and so therefore no one knows anything about this. But using poison in this practice, you are not defending your honor. You are reassuring that you are a coward, that you don't have no honor, because this has to be clean. It has to be an activity clean and fair. And having this, Claudio is showing himself as a coward and someone that has no honor left, that has no morality left. You are going to break all these rules that were very, very important for the nobles in this time. Well, now that you see my point of view on the main characters and my favorite villains, tell me what you think about the three plays and how these characters interact or their motives. I want to see what you think about it so we can discuss. Don't forget to comment, to like, or to write to me on the social media if you fancy, or even in the comments down below. See you soon. Bye.